sometimes your own story can actually drive what you're doing.
Yes.
And so that own story is, hey, I know how people feel. I know what's going on here.
The court system needs to be helped. There's so much to be done for women that go through abuse. And even for shelters, there's hardly no spaces open for women right today.
And I think from even just initially talking to you, you were like, your own story plus then seeing holes in the system has actually even driven you to be a psychiatrist kind of side.
That's right. So even with when we had the boutique, I had paralegals come in, help women that are in shelters that don't have financial base to go to court. Because what happens if you go through court, you need a lawyer. They don't have funding for that, or you need to fight for your home. So our law is 50-50. So for you to stay with your home, you need to put the 50 in to buy out the other person, which is like you have a family, and how are you going to be able to do that? And if you are a woman that was at home that didn't get to work, and most abusive men try to be controlling enough that you can't grow, and that was a factor with me. I was starting to grow, and that just hindered his ability to want me to grow. He wanted me to be in a 9-to-5 job and not grow with my entrepreneurship. But I had a passion in me that I needed to drive forward.
Hi everyone, and I'm back with another Sandwich Years. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, Sandwich Years is about taking care of the top bun, which is an elderly parent, potentially aunts, uncles, even somewhat siblings, and then also taking care of the bottom bun, which are your kids, potentially nieces, nephews, could be any sorts of person that you need to support in some shape or form. And then we branch out a little bit to fur babies as well, because we know they can't function for a very long time without you. And so that is called the Sandwich Years. And so what we say is that you're squeezed and blessed because you're the one in the middle. What's in the middle? Those are the things that we start discussing through these conversations, as well as how you're coping. So today I have a friend with me, and her name is Susie. And so Susie, welcome to the show. And I was just wondering if you can tell everybody who you are and who's squeezing and blessing you.
You're so cute. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm Susie Tomasi. I'm a psychologist, a new psychologist. I graduated last year, but I still call myself a therapist.
Congratulations.
I deal with a lot of therapy with emotions and grief, and also trauma with women abuse. So that is my key goal of what I do with the therapy part. I'm also an author of a best seller's book called Woman Empowered and Healed, and a publisher editor of Biz Fashion magazine.
Okay, but that's not all who you are.
No.
Because there's more. Like, that's squeezing you, but who else is squeezing you? Like, there's some people in your life. Let's talk about the not details, but like, are you a mom? Are you?
Yes, so I'm a single mom of 2 beautiful boys.
Boys.
One is 28 and one is 16. So there's a 12-year gap right there. So just imagine that. One is married with, I am a grandmother with a young
Grandma.
a year and 6 months granddaughter. So I always wanted a girl. So she's going to be carrying my legacy, hopefully, in fashion. But let's see what happens.
She's going to be the best dressed girl. She probably is right now. She came out with a tiara on her head. And so she's the best dressed granddaughter. I love this. And then
I have a 16-year-old that is, going through those challenging years. Do you remember those years?
Yeah, my son is 17. This is where they're finding themselves. They went through COVID.
Yes.
The attitude, but just really flexing their muscles is what we call it. That's what we're going to call it.
Yes.
As well as then you also have a mom as well.
I do. I have a lovely mom and sister.
Okay.
I love to death. The relationship is great. And she is in her 71st year and goes through her challenges, but I will put that aside. Yeah.
So with that said, so one of the things, the way I met Susie was more from all the things she's doing within the community and her business life. And the reason why I really wanted to bring her on the show is she's gone through so much transition and change, but she's creating her own forge throughout, along with having kids and being a single mom.
That's it.
And so, I mean, I think one of the things I respect you and very look up to you for is your ability to enterprise, I guess is what I'm going to call it, enterprise, because being a single mom, it's very tricky because you're also making sure there's food on the table.
That's right.
And doing all of those things. So I'm not sure if you can sort of share your, and then when you have kids with bigger gaps. So one of the things I always joke around with is once you have the kids, like you kind of go back, and then that's it. Out of diapers, you're like, I don't want to see another diaper bag, anything like that. But then when you go for 12 years and then have another kid, like talk to us about, I guess you're one smarter. Maybe you have a babysitter, maybe you don't with your older kid. Like, can you talk about that relationship a little bit of having a gap between your kids and how to kind of survive through that as a single mom?
Sure. I'll go back to the first question that you asked is in regards to having the entrepreneurship and having all these businesses and coping as a single mom. Right now, jobs are not as flexible as before. And when I did have my beautiful corporate job that I had the stability of getting a great salary and launching, going into entrepreneurship in a boutique at that time, and having a bad business partner was a big toll on me because Christian, my youngest one, sorry, I put his name down, but it's okay with that. He was 4 and I left my corporate job for this business venture, right?
So were you doing them both at the same time?
I was.
Okay, so doing them both at the same time, raising 2 kids on your own. You were already divorced.
That's right.
Okay, so...
Well, actually, not even divorced. I was separated.
Okay.
Because I wasn't getting the divorce. He wanted that control. So that's where a little bit of history of abuse is there and control. And that's why my advocacy today is to help women get their voice out there, which they truly deserve to be out of that type of relationship.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So basically losing the boutique because of bad partnership, starting all brand new, having COVID hit, which was a kind of a blessing. I was crying. I said, oh, what am I going to do with my brand, my fashion brand, because I had the boutique, and then I became a designer because I couldn't find clothing for the boutique for all age, for sizes.
Okay.
So I started designing for all sizes. And then afterwards, losing it all. And then saying, wow, what am I going to do with my life? Okay,
so let's rewind. In the time period where you're struggling for your separation, you're losing what tools? Like, is there tools that you had to kind of pull you out? Like, what did you do in those situations?
I think I have to say it's resilience.
Okay.
Having that resilience and having faith in God.
Okay.
I think that kept me alongside my path.
Okay.
Because honestly, coming today, looking back, the positives of losing the boutique, COVID hit. I would have to be paying rent on a location that no one would be looking at or being able to look at clothing. So looking at the positives always, which they say that you have to always talk positive, looking at that gave me that resilience to keep on going.
So reflection is one key thing.
Yeah.
The other piece is almost everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
But the resilience, so question about training or teaching, or like, is there something, like, did you have all these business ideas in your head, or did you fall on them? Like, this is now talking more about entrepreneurship and the ability to have entrepreneurship and be a single mom and be in the sandwich years. Because when you're an entrepreneur, one of the things we all learn is we get flexibility.
Right.
But with flexibility comes flexibility of cash flow. And so that's a tricky thing as well, especially when there's dependence on you.
Yeah.
And so like for like, I guess the question to that piece is, what else did you have to do? Like, how did you set up an infrastructure so that you could be who you are today?
Great question. So with the boutique, we used to have workshops and help single moms going through abuse. A portion of our sales of my clothing line, which was Susie Q Jewels Fashion, would give to the women's shelters we were affiliated. So I already had the background of helping and giving to women that needed it because I went through it.
Okay, so you had connections. So first and foremost, you had your own life story.
That's right.
Which actually drove you to have a better knowledge because you had that experience. So that's one piece, is sometimes your own story can actually drive what you're doing.
Yes.
And so that own story is, hey, I know how people feel. I know what's going on here.
The court system needs to be helped. There's so much to be done for women that go through abuse. And it's been in the news last year that people are bringing it out, but there's really no concrete time limit for women in abuse. And even for shelters, there's hardly no spaces open for women right today.
Okay. So
right?
when you're doing your own, like reflecting on your own story or your own journey,
Yes.
you're going to see, how do I say this? Not pitfalls, but you see holes. And when you see those holes, document them, but even keep them in your memory, because that is something where there might be an opportunity to help or to use and things. So your ability, first and foremost, with fashion, which is great. Then you have your story about your own instances.
Yes.
And then connections that you built. So one of the things I always tell everyone is you never burn bridges, as well as your connections. Your good connections will always be your connections.
Yes.
And so use your connections to sit there and go, what does it need? And I think from even just initially talking to you, you were like, your own story plus then seeing holes in the system has actually even driven you to be a psychiatrist kind of stuff.
That's right. So even with when we had the boutique, I had paralegals come in, help women that are in shelters that don't have financial base to go to court. Because what happens if you go through court, you need a lawyer. They don't have funding for that. Or you need to fight for your home. So our law is 50-50. So for you to stay with your home, you need to put the 50 in to buy out the other person, which is like you have a family, and how are you going to be able to do that? And if you are a woman that was at home that didn't get to work, and most abusive men try to be controlling enough that you can't grow, and that was a factor with me. I was starting to grow, and that just hindered his ability to want me to grow. He wanted me to be in a 9-to-5 job and not grow with my entrepreneurship. But I had a passion in me that I needed to drive forward.
Okay.
And I couldn't depend on a 9-to-5 job that I was putting my whole 100%. And one day they can close me down and they're not, I'm another number, right? So I said, okay, I have a child I have to support. So that was my driving point to be an entrepreneur and being strong and faithful with it.
Okay. So passion.
Yes.
Resilience.
And
believing in yourself, understanding the system. Yes. Because I think too, once you understand the system a bit, you can play within the system and make sure that everybody wins in the system as well, especially your kids.
Yes.
And that's the other piece. When you're a single mom or a single parent, your first and foremost priority is the kids. It's less about you, more about them.
It's for all them, right? And you have to go to the court system, go with FRO, fight for the funding, get all the booking, the paperwork from, the other person, showing all their income. If there's income under the table, you might have to do a private audit just to show that he's making extra money and he doesn't want to put it in the book. So our court system depends on the book so much, but they don't look at the other part of it all, right?
And all of that drove you to sit there and go, hey,
I need
corporate,
to change.
I need to change. And I also need to create something as well. Okay, so now we create something as well. We've got a 4-year-old who, and then at this time, how old is your oldest?
He was 12.
A 12-year-old. So
right?
4-year-old just getting into school. You have
12, 14.
You have to do the driving all over the place. Now, did you have a support system to help you drive the kids around, or did you?
Thanks that I had my son who is 14 at that time, and then he would help me out. I would bring my son to the boutique. That would help me out by him going to school, doing his homework and stuff like that. Me bringing Christian. We would do like alternating hours with my business partners, so that kind of worked out a little bit, but juggling basically. And then I had my mom, so my mom was there as emergency backup. One thing about myself, I think my error is we take on the world, and I don't know, I'm a Capricorn.
You Capricorn no joke.
Think we can do it all.
You know what? There's Capricorn, and I'll be honest, there's Capricorn and woman. And I'm going to be honest, we take on the world because we can do the world, but we do take on the world.
That is.
And I think one of the pieces of of understanding you take on the world is also you can do it.
Yes.
But
But
having
you do need
support,
help.
exactly, and doing it well is one of the things. And so I'm sure
And
there was a
letting
moment
go,
in
right?
time where you're like, you know, I'm not doing everything to the capacity that I'm doing. I need help.
That's right. Same
Okay.
thing as my business with Biz Fashion Magazine. I have to give a big credit to my team, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. First of all, with photography and my editors, my columnists, my marketing team, because I gave them that strength. In a way, I let go. So
Okay.
we need to learn to let go and give it to other people to carry on forward.
So
And we
tip.
can't take it all on our own.
So a tip from an
Mhm.
entrepreneur to other entrepreneurs as well is, while you have the vision for it all, you can't physically do it all. And it's okay to let go some portions to trusted people, obviously. Like,
That's
I mean, it's not like you're just going to give it to willy-nilly.
No.
You got to interview, you got to do all those pieces, but recognize what you're strong in.
Yeah.
And recognize where you can get help and figure out that piece. Because also from an entrepreneur, so cash flow is very hard.
That's
To hire someone, but maybe there is those different relationships where it's pay as you go. They're not employees. There's other kind of
Yeah.
relationships that you can create so that you are getting the support you need.
Right.
So one of your advices is get the support you need from a business perspective as well. So on the sandwichier side, from a family and getting that help, and other family members will. Siblings will help siblings and all of that sorts of pieces. And I bless my sister all the time. I'm 7 years younger than my sister, and many a times she had to take care of me or take me somewhere or do all of those things so that my mom could do what she needed to do. My dad could do what he needed to do. So a lot of my care and upbringing was from my sibling. And that's kind of what is kind of the reality, and also can support especially when you're a single mom.
Oh yeah.
If
And
there are siblings that they can help in, like, I mean, at the same instance, your eldest son, he is doing his thing. Like he's
and
now
he's
has
an
his own
amazing-
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to give thanks to him because he's an amazing guy. He did graduate from college, and he
Awesome.
has a younger daughter now. And I see him, and it's so amazing to see that he was a great father figure to my son,
Yeah.
who was 16, because he didn't have a father, but he was tough. He was an army person. So my eldest son is an Aquarius. So very army, diligent, tough with the little one. So I can understand why the little one suffers a little bit more. But I see him with his daughter. It's totally different. And I said that to him, like, wait until you have your own kid. You cannot control their characters, the way they are. You think you can, but once you have it, you learn the real story of having a child.
Oh,
right?
and he's
And
going to
I
be a
could
puppy
see
dog for
that.
his
I could see
daughter.
it now. Oh, yeah.
As soon as she blinks her eyes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially because she'll be well dressed, my
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah.
It's over. He's gonna be like, here's my car keys. You're only 12, but have fun with it.
No, I think he's gonna be no boys.
No boys ever.
No boys at all.
ever.
Yeah, ever.
So that's piece of the so from building your business. Other tips for entrepreneurs that are in the sandwich years that can get some tips there. Is there any other tips that you would have?
I think that the best tip you can do is trust yourself.
Okay.
Let go a little bit. I was a real big perfectionist when I was younger.
Okay.
I wanted everything to be perfect, and you can't control that. So giving that to your kids a little bit, and giving that allow and exposure, and not having to be stressed out and yelling at them all the time is not worth it.
And that's for kids as well as potentially employees as well.
And employees, yes, trusting them. Like, you know what, you're going to learn, you're going to have one bad person and say, okay, you know what, they're going to learn the trick of the trade and take it forward on their own, but they're never going to be you. Remember that.
Okay.
So no one's going to replace you. So you need to trust them to help you to have a life too. Because if I don't give that trust to them and give them that leadership that they can grow too, that they're part of the family, I will not be able to have a life myself. I would not be able to enjoy my family, be there for the times that we need to for our kids and our family, right? So I think you need to give and take. Learn to give and take.
Okay, so learn to give and take from family side as well,
Yes.
And so as
and entrepreneurship.
an
too.
entrepreneur side. So from a family perspective, and I think I can echo this piece, they're going to fall, they're going to trip,
And
and your heart's going to be on, but they have to fall and they have to trip so that they can learn and be a better person.
yes.
If you take away all of those pieces, they won't learn. And actually, while they're younger is when they need to learn, because when they're older, there's bigger consequences.
Yes.
Correct?
And I find because I'm mostly an entrepreneur with my second one, he's had me more. So therefore, it kind of lacked in him to be more responsible because he knew he can count on me. But my eldest one, he's so responsible in a way because he knew I was at work at corporate and it was never 9 to 5. It was always 9 to 8. That he could juggle things. And now looking at me, but they're different characters too.
Yep.
Looking at my youngest one, I think it's because he knows he has me there that he can be more laid back.
And flex a bit.
And flex. And maybe it's because it's a second child. We tend to be a little bit more flexible on it.
But
you go with it.
that's the piece when you're dealing with the bottom buns,
That's
right?
it.
The other piece is I always laugh and say, nobody gave me a book to take care of kids. Nobody gave me a
And you
book to
can
take care of
read-
adults either. And so it's not trial and error, but you learn as you go.
That's it.
And
You can read as many books, but it's not going to be the same. Everyone's so different, right?
very
and that's
different.
part of psychology too. You can have so many clients and patients and you can go by the book, but everyone has something different.
Exactly.
So-
Okay. So that's from the caring of the bottom bun. From an entrepreneur side, you're going to have to be okay with less than perfect. Actually, less than perfect helps you learn.
That's true.
Also makes you pivot. I'll use the word pivot.
Good,
Everyone loves
love
that
it.
word. And also allows you to be scalable, right? You
Yes.
test something out in a smaller capacity
Yes.
and then you roll it out to bigger because you've learned.
That's
And
right.
it wasn't 100% there. And so that is kind of also how you built your business, no?
Very true. And giving them the ownership. So
Okay.
if you give them the ownership, they will try out different ideas that you can trust in them and say, hey, you're doing an amazing job. And they'll want to continue doing it. And it's like everyone. It's like your kids too. If you give them a credit and you want to give them to do something. Well, you know what? For you to get there, what do you have to do?
Okay. And so
Right?
you use
So
that.
you challenge yourself. I go, okay, Austin, my kid's name again. Austin, where do you need to go? If you want to be there, what do you have to do? And I do that to myself. I go, I want to be where I want to be. I just wish I could know how to juggle and not put people forward myself. Sometimes I do that. And I do have boundaries. I've learned that last year. And I'm not there for everyone anymore. And I feel bad sometimes because it's in us as mother and as we grow up as women that we also are always caregivers and we want to give. But there is a point that you have to give. You need to put boundaries to actually love yourself and give time for you.
Okay.
Right?
So you've touched on a couple of things. So let's just recap. So from family side, bottom buns, we're going to give them a little leeway. We're going to let them trip, fall. We'll pick them back up because that's just what we do as parents. And just even loving somebody younger than you or not even taking care of people, you'll give them a little bit of leeway. When you're working with people, you'll give them a little bit of leeway. Obviously, these are trusted people that you have worked with, that you're going to interview and do all of those things. So you're trusting them with your business. You give them a little leeway. Then you can make yourself pivot a lot easier. You can actually scale your business and all of those sorts of things. Then we talk about ourselves. And so one of the things, you touched on it, give yourself some leeway.
So true.
And so let's talk about self-care. Let's talk about how as entrepreneurs, we try to take care of ourselves because I'll be honest, being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. And some days I have to be like, shit, lack of better word. Sorry. I'm like, oh my, like, and when you leave corporate to have your own business, you're everything. Your finance, your marketing, your
CRA,
PR, exactly.
Revenue Canada, you're
everything.
Bookkeeper, you're everything.
You're everything. And letting go is very hard. But letting go gives you self-care because it gives you more time back, which is fabulous. what do you, because you write a book, you have a magazine, you actually do a lot of events and stuff, because I see you out and about and stuff, which is fabulous. What do you do for yourself? Like, how do you take time out?
For me, key is meditation, breathing.
Okay.
Breathing, I'm a breath worker also. I incorporate that with my therapy. So I don't like doing prescriptions. I really do journaling, meditation, breath working.
That's what works for you.
Key. And for my clients too.
Okay.
I'm a hypnocognitive behavior therapist. So I bring them to the point of their subconscious level so that they can find out where their trauma started with. And we work through that and we juggle it by session and sessions. And it doesn't take the first session to get to why you are in that trauma or
now
why you don't
I
go forward.
love you as a psychologist, but now when you're a psychologist, you're also taking on a lot as well.
For me.
I need you. I
Yes.
want you to say what you do. So do you journal?
I journal,
And-
I breath work, I meditate. Those are my three.
And does it help?
pray.
Like, do you find that
Like
you have
my
to do more?
meditation is praying.
Okay, so you do praying. What else do you do?
And then I go for walks, I go for chats, I meet up with friends, and I try to keep an hour a day for me now.
An hour. Okay, so
An hour
tip
for me.
is, and I actually went to a session and they taught me, you got to schedule joy in.
Yes.
And so you schedule an hour.
Yeah.
That's yours.
Yeah, and that's mine. So if I want to watch a show, I'll do that without guilt.
Okay.
Before it used to be guilt. If I wanted to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. Or I'll meet up with a friend. I'll go for a walk with a friend so we can chat and walk.
An hour a day. And now this is the moment of
Is
truth.
that enough?
No. Do you do it?
I do.
So how did you set that pattern
I
in?
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't maybe 2 years ago. But after I got my degree, I had to scheduling time because I have so many people that come to me and I'm like a book for them. So they tell me everything and they want to get a solution. So I'm very empathetic already. So I would take that load on me and I needed to find a way to let go of that load.
Yep.
So that hour will allow me to wind down, let go of everything that
So-
I've taken in that day.
So that's that saying that you can't pour from an empty
Yes.
cup, or you can't even put more water in a full cup.
That's right.
And so you use that hour to
deal with me.
deal with you and refresh yourself so
That's
that you
it.
can take on more.
Yeah.
Because if you sponge everything, and I think from a self-care across the board, doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, outside of the sandwich years, you definitely need to take a moment for yourself.
You have to. You really
so-
have to.
It's easily said than done. And I'm
Uh-huh.
not even going to lie. Like, I recently
would
got on
love
this
to.
journey of find an hour for joy. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? Find an hour for joy. But that is my mission. I'm trying to find
Even
an hour
when you're
for joy.
driving, you could use that and do like 10 breaths, full breath. Because of COVID, we had masks on, so our lungs have gotten smaller. So we need to expand our lungs. So when you're driving, take 10 breaths for you. In and out.
And is that what you do?
Think of positive things. Yes.
Okay. So
Think of things you love to do.
As
so
we-
I'm on the ocean. I'm walking. One breath.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. No, we can't do that today. We're on a time limit. We can't do that today. Okay. So as we wrap up, so anybody who's in the sandwich years, an entrepreneur of many,
Yes.
have children, as well as parents or potentially an elder that they're supporting, what advice would you give them? Or
I-
what tip would you that you have learned throughout your journey?
Yeah.
What tip would you give them, either to deal with the sandwichers or even to deal with entrepreneurship? What tip would you give them?
So I would say take a deep breath for you. Like take those 10 breaths every day for you. And be grateful. Gratitude is really key. Give out a smile or any type of kindness to others, because whatever you give out, you get it back in tenfolds. I think gratitude is key. So that's part of my journaling every day. Give 10 things that you love. Like we can walk, talk, and see. I think those are really important things. Be humble. Humbleness is key. You can have a degree, you can have as much money as you have, but if you're not humble to have empathy for others and try to help others, then there's no point to life. So I think those are my key things.
Okay. Thank you, Susie.
Thank
That's
you.
been phenomenal. And I think everyone here, you want to hear how Susie's doing. If you haven't seen Susie, you're going to see Susie because she's all everywhere. And we're really grateful for you taking the moment to come out and talk with us as well. And honestly, you know, you do a lot. And we're grateful for you and the community for what you do, as well as we see you.
Oh, thank you. Biz Fashion wants to let you know that we do give out to the community. Not everything's paid in there, but we do have paid also to keep us afloat. We have to think as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and I am so grateful to having you part of the show, having me part of your show today. Normally I'm at different shows, so I'm hosting and interviewing others. So I love your interview. Thank you. Keep doing what you do.
Well, thank you.
In a positive way.
So tune in next time. If you have any questions, comments, please put in the comment section, or not even, send us an email, support@sandwichyears.ca. Looking forward to having Susie back again later on, as well as any of the other guests that you might have seen. But really, as it's almost like I want to sign off. Stay squeezed and blessed. That might be my new sign off. Stay squeezed and blessed. Have a good rest of the day, and thank you.